everyone, welcome to Horticultural Hails. Apologies for not uploading last week, however there really wasn't much to record in the garden, so I decided not to do an episode. And I was also planning the video that I've just put up, the music montage, so I thought it'd just be something a little different. But I have now decided that I will be recording things like radishes and lettuces, which I am repeating, just so that you guys kind of get used to it, and if anyone new comes along, they know how to do it anyway. But I will still be doing new stuff like these just here. I will have to thin these out soon. As you can see, they're getting rather large, so that'll probably be next week's episode. I might be thinning those out for you. So first up, I'm going to be doing a little bit of weeding. I'll either do this in voiceover or I will talk whilst doing it, but either way there will be a time lapse, and I'll see you there. So what I'm doing here is, as I normally do, all I'm going to do is just hand weed all of these. So usually I know people use hose. That is a way you can do it. The design does is it just chops the stem off level with the ground, and the theory is that the roots will then die below it. But I tend to hand weed it, just it's something I prefer to do, then I know how it's done. And so all I do is just grab by the stem. This is quite self-explanatory. Just grab by the base of the stem and just try and pull as much as the roots up as possible. And I've got to do this the whole way along. Right, I shall do, as quick as that was, I shall do the rest in time lapse. So what I'm going to do here is just weed this little bit, this raised bit here, weed and take these out and take the roots off of these, just because I've got another row of lettuces and another row of radishes to plant. And so all I do with these is pretty much exactly the same as weeds, is just grab them by the base gently so you don't crush the leaves, and then just gently pull up, whack the roots off on the ground, leaving the roots, and then just get a knife and cut it almost level with the base, but enough so that the leaves hold, then you get rid of all the roots. Now the reason that I've had to pull these is because all my lettuces are bolted like this. So what this means is that they've suddenly grown in one straight line in order to produce a flower to reproduce and get the next lot of plants. So if I leave them in, they'll produce flowers, and then it'll make the lettuces taste sour. So all I do with these is, as I said, I cut just before the base of here, where the leaves connect, but just low enough that it takes the roots off, but leaves the leaves on. And then just take any, if you've got any with slug holes on the base, just take them off. And then get the next one and do exactly the same. Now that we're back on the garden, we shall do the second part, which is the weeding. Again, I'll just time lapse straight through this, and I'll see you in a moment. So the next thing I'm going to do is just cultivate this bit that I've just weeded. So all that means is, where I've got hard soil this side, this is where I've been walking up and down. I'm going to take a little bit up this side, because I've got a lot of path this side before the beans, and that just means that I get a wider area so I can fit more planting. And then I'll put lettuces up this side, and then the other side I'll do a drill of radishes. And all you want to do with this is, as they're 3 blades, you want to stick them level with the ground, so that as you pull, they sink in, and then you pull along, and that just loosens up the soil to that depth. And then it's much easier when it comes to planting the lettuces, the radish, or sowing a drill, in this case radishes. It's a lot easier because the soil is a lot looser. Although I do admit you will have to rake it afterwards, because it does drag a lot of the soil around. Right, I'll time lapse through the rest. I'll see you in a moment. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how I plant my lettuces. So I've got these lettuces here. These are some that I've sown a while back. And what I do is, this time, because they're in plug trays, I'm not going to just take them out with this. I'm going to use my dibbing tool, and once the hole is about the same depth as the plug, you want to go around the actual shape of the plug just so that, like a cutout really, and then try and get as close to the bottom with it as possible, and then just gently lever it up. There you are. Pop it into the hole. Put some soil around, making sure you just firm around the base. That just helps support it. And then just dress off with a little bit of soil. And then these I'm going to do about the blade of this apart, which is a good 4 or 5 inches. Well, probably actually a little bit more. Not just the blade. I'll probably do the whole thing, which is at least 20 centimeters. And then I shall do this the whole way along. Emptying this, I've got another tray full of lettuces as well. And so I'll time lapse through the rest for you. Next thing I'm going to be showing you is how to sow radishes. Now this is quite simple. I have shown it before, but I'll show you all again. So what you want to do to start with is form what's known as a drill. And all this is just a little groove in the ground all the way along the length of where you want to sow your vegetables. This same method is applied not just for radishes, as I'm doing, but is also used for carrots, for beetroot, for quite a few different vegetables. And the depth of the drill changes for each vegetable. So for this, it shouldn't be too deep, whereas for a beetroot it might be a little bit deeper. Don't be that far, I want to be about there, don't we? Now you can use a hoe, but as you see, what I tend to do is I just use my hand. It's much quicker. And then what you want to do, if I get the seed, is you have a pack of seed. This is French breakfast radishes, and these will be again cylindrical radishes. I have some over there just to the right that are circular rather than cylindrical. And then with these, you just want to go the whole length of the drill, just putting them in very finely. And if you want to, if they have come out a little thickly, then you can go back afterwards once they've germinated and just thin them out a little bit. If you put them in too thickly, when they grow, they'll be too close to each other, and then they won't form the actual radishes. Right, and then what you want to do now that they're in the drill is just on both sides gently push the soil into the center, so then you don't move the seed around, they then stay where they are. Like so. You don't have to firm down the top or anything, just literally just do this. And for this really to work, you want quite fine soil. As you saw, I have cultivated this a little bit beforehand. And then now what I'm going to do is just give everything a water, and then I'll put a net over them. And finally, on this week's episode of Horticultural Hails, I'm going to be showing you how I pot on my lettuces. So as you can see in the tray in front of you, those are lettuces that we sowed 2 weeks ago, and they've grown prolifically. And then what we do is we put the lettuces, we single them out, put them into plug trays, which I'm filling up at the moment. And then I'll show you how we pop them on. Right, so that's just about full now. Just gently press down once they're full of compost. Just gently press down a little. Might need a little bit more actually. And then what you want to do is have a dibbing tool and your little finger and just make a little hole. Right, there you go. And then now you have your 6 holes. Don't know how well you can see that, that's quite good. You want to single out a plant and then just gently cut around it. And then support it as you just gently pull it up and then pop it into a hole. Bit more compost. And then these will look a little droopy because I've been moving them. But these will, because they're now in the larger trays, they'll perk up in the next couple of days. Alright, I'm going to time lapse through the rest. I've got a few more trays to set up as well. So I'll see you in a moment. Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Horticultural Hails. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like and always subscribe. But even better yet, join me next week for another episode of Horticultural Hails, and please keep growing those gardens.